stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B. Foster with me, and we are back to Featured Player of the Week. This is our first of the NFL season of 2024. And without further ado, Foster, I want you to talk about this week's Featured Player of the Week. Before that, though, make sure you subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and for all the podcast aggregators, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts. Go into the search, type in Bleachers to Speakers FFSN. Follow us. Make sure you have that bell lit so whenever we drop, you can get a notification and download those episodes. Without further ado, Foster, what are we talking about this week?
All right, this week we're talking about Brandon Joseph, who was originally from Texas, but he attended Northwestern and Notre Dame, and he is a safety. He came out after his redshirt junior year. He's 6 foot and 202 pounds. Now to rewind back to his college career, his redshirt freshman year, he had 6 interceptions and was named as an all Big Ten player, and he had 52 total tackles, and that ended up being his best year production-wise. And this next year, he played 12 games as a starter. He was team captain and had 3 interceptions. And then after that year, he transferred to Notre Dame to be the predecessor to Kyle Hamilton. If you're familiar, that's the safety for the Ravens now, but he was obviously a very highly touted guy out of college. And he had his worst year of action, his redshirt junior year, where he only had 1 forced fumble and 1 interception. So a dwindling of production throughout his college career. Ultimately, he would be signed to the practice squad last year, and then re-signed to a futures deal to compete for a job in camp this year. Obviously, he made the team out of camp this year, so he is the backup safety to Kirby Joseph. So that could be very confusing, but Dan Campbell definitely sings high praises of him. He's viewed as another coach on the field, but we'll get into that in a little bit. As far as his strengths, his impact on the passing game is one of his bigger strengths. He has good ball tracking skills. He has good catch body control, and he has reliable hands. He's also versatile. He can play in a multitude of different positions, whether it's in the slot, in that center field free safety position, but he also can mix it up at the line of scrimmage as well. The second major strength of his is his football intelligence. He obviously attended two academic universities, such as a Notre Dame and a Northwestern, but he was also courted by many Ivy League schools as well. So, book smart as well as football smart. He uses his football IQ to identify routes, so he has good recognition in that regards. And you'll often catch him helping his players in pre-snap adjustments, move around, kind of analyzing the plays before they happen on the field. And that's one of the things that Dan Campbell likes so much about him. Despite his size, he's also not afraid to get active in the box, and he utilizes good angles to be a better tackler. Now, as far as his improvements, as far as things that he needs to improve on, his consistency, as we talked about earlier, his seasons dwindled down less and less. He started out his redshirt freshman year with 6 interceptions, and by the time he got to his redshirt junior year, he only had 1 interception. So his production definitely got declined less and less, and obviously that's why he ended up not being drafted. sometimes he fails to wrap his arms when it's time to tackle, and he struggles in contested catch situations, which is probably due to the fact that he is a little bit undersized at his position. He was viewed coming out of college. He was viewed as a high floor, low ceiling guy. And that's due to the fact that athletic wise, he doesn't have any one particular aspect that he excels at. He's just consistently, I don't want to say mediocre, but he's more so average at most aspects. He doesn't have one particular skill set that jumps out at you when it's all said and done. But like I said, he made a team out of camp. He'll be backing up Kerby Joseph, who is a good, I think will be a good mentor for him. You'll probably see him, I would think, in special team situations, although I'm not 100% sure, but he did have a pretty good preseason as well. I want to say he had 2 interceptions.
He made some plays during the preseason this year.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely made his presence known and stuck out. I want to say when he was playing against starters when he was getting a lot of that production as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a couple interceptions. I know he made a nice hit on George Pickett. Is his name George Pickett? The receiver for the Pickens, the receiver from went to Steelers. But he went to Georgia. He made a nice. He ran up and made a nice hit on a screenplay. So that just kind of goes to show that he's willing to mix it up in the box and make plays. But he, like I said, he was going against starters a lot of times because we didn't get a chance to see a lot of Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch and Iffy. So he was pretty much thrown to the fire against a lot of top-notch players, and he stepped up. So I'm excited to see, to what extent he'll get a chance to play. Hopefully not a whole lot, but we know how football works. You're gonna get your opportunities if you are on, if you are on that main roster. So that is Brandon Joseph.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. It's very difficult to follow up a phenomenal season, especially as a redshirt freshman. Teams tend to also you're on notice, like people know who you are. You're no longer a secret, so they probably game plan against him a lot his second year. But that's just the way it happens, man. I've seen him play, and I've seen him make plays, so I think he'll be a good contributor for the Detroit Lions. Thanks again, Foster, and subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube if you haven't already, and make sure that you're following us on Spotify, YouTube Music, and all that good stuff. Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN in the search when it comes to Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us, download the episodes. Thank you for your support.
Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your